guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make sure you press that subscribe button so you won't miss any of my future uploads. I recently started a series on my channel about personal finance and dealing with debt. The ultimate goal is definitely to be financially free. That's a goal for myself. And I'm just kind of talking about in these videos things that I've learned over the course of years. And I've decided to start on the topic of credit cards. Last week we talked about how to save money on credit cards, and this week we're actually going to take a step back and talk about how to get your first credit card. First, when you're applying for credit cards, you have to make sure you can show that you have been working continuously for at least 1 year. You will be denied if you cannot show that you have had continuous employment. I mean, that could be like work study if you're in a college student. That's what I used. And any internships that I had that I got paid a little money here and there, that's ultimately what I used to get my first credit card. So if you're not working now, you don't need a credit card. You don't need the credit card. If you're not working right now, don't even apply for a credit card because you will be denied. One way you can get around is getting a secured credit card. It doesn't really matter which bank you go to because ultimately you'll be using your own money. And the reason why you have to do the secure credit card is because the banks don't have anything to judge you on. They don't know, you don't have a credit score, so how are they going to judge how fiscally responsible you are? How are they going to judge, are you going to pay back your money on time in full? See what I'm saying? So the amounts for secure credit cards are usually between $300 and $500. So this is of your own money that you're giving to them. So basically the $300 to $500 that you're giving the credit card company is basically like a loan, right? That's what they're going to use as collateral if you don't pay your loan back, which is your credit card bill. But make sure whichever secure card you do try to get does not have an annual fee. The point is to not be spending, whole extra amounts of money, right? So you're already putting $300 to $500 of your own money down to help you start making credit. But also if you're gonna I gave you this money to help me and then you're gonna charge me an annual fee. Nah, that's not cool. And you have options and we don't have to do that. We ain't going down that road. So back to this credit card. You basically have to show that you can pay off the balance of the card. No bank is going to approve you for a card with no job. So don't look stable enough to the credit card company. Bottom line, if you have at least 1 year of continuous work employment, you can get a credit card. Second, do not get a store credit card as your first credit card. I know when you're in the store and they're like, oh, you can save 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50% additional on your purchase if you sign up for one of our cards. Yeah, no, don't do it. In my last video, I spoke about this, but to be honest, matter of fact, we trying to be financially free, so we don't even need to be in the store buying the clothes. Matter of fact, take these clothes back because they don't fit into my budget. Just get a regular card. You can get it with your bank, your credit union, or any of the more mainstream credit card companies. These can range from Capital One, American Express, things like that. Quite a few places don't accept American Express, so I personally wouldn't have my American Express be my first card, but there's plenty out there. Now, I'm not saying all these have the best interest rates. You will have to do some research on what are the best cards for beginners. And I'm actually filming a video on that too. So if you stay tuned, you can see that video too. So don't worry. Okay, cool. I'm glad we're on the same page here. Ultimately, I think a good option would just be getting a credit card with the bank that you have your checking and your savings account because you've already built a relationship with that institution. And so maybe even going to the person that usually handles your deposits, your withdrawals, things like that, and kind of seeing what would be best for someone in your situation. That's what I did. I had Wachovia, which ended up being bought out by Wells Fargo. And that's who I have my first credit card with. So third, only get your credit card if you know you can pay off the balance by the end of that month. Credit cards are literally like a loan that you don't have to pay interest on. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you only put minimal purchases on that credit card and then pay them off by the end of that month, you won't be charged any interest. So if you don't go the secure route, you apply and you're able to get a credit card, that money is not yours. That's a loan. that you're allowed to use, and to avoid paying interest on it, just pay it off. You know, I use my credit cards. I got credit cards that have like rewards, cashback rewards, right? A certain percentage of my groceries, a certain percentage of when I get gas, I get that money back, and I set it up that that's in a separate account under my bank, and I've used those cashback rewards to book my travel through the company, and I've used that extra money, which is basically like a separate savings account, to pay for my travel. I'm gonna have a whole separate video on like good credit cards that I think, in my experience, in my opinion, would be good for you. But definitely, when you're starting out with a credit card, you want to make minimal purchases. I mean, maybe your gas, you know, people be going crazy with the grocery stuff, you know, so I don't know if you need to put all your groceries on there, but definitely gas, very small menial things, and then paying that off before the end of the month. You're still building credit, you're still building credit, and it's not going to reflect bad. Please do not think that you need to carry a balance over to the next month, because once you carry the balance, interest is coming along on that ride. Interest carrying too. Okay, you got balance and interest. We don't need that in our lives. I only want to spend the amount of money that I know I have in my bank account, but I'm just using my credit card to give me that extra money, give me those rewards. So ultimately, you want to take advantage of the perks, but ultimately make sure the credit card is benefiting your life, right? Like, we don't need to be getting in credit card debt, you know? We don't need it, okay? So small purchases, pay them off by the end of the month, and you Gucci, you good. So when I'm using my credit card, I know that I already have that money in my checking account, but I'm using my credit card to make that purchase for my groceries, for my gas, because I know I'm just gonna go ahead and just pay it off. But I'm just reaping the rewards, right? So I get a percentage of that amount back, and I put it in a separate account. And for that reason, because I do not depend on my credit card, that is why I have never had a late payment. I think that is a success. Successful. Because it's so hard. Like, I'm like, oh, I got the bill. I be paying so often that they be like, minimum payment due 0.00, because you know why? Because I have already paid it off. I swipe the card, I pay it off. You know, swipe, pay, swipe. You know what I'm saying? I don't wait. All right, guys, that was my last tip. I will be back next week on Monday with more information. All right, see you next week.